right, everybody, welcome back to the LIV Fantasy Football Podcast, episode 14. I'm your host, Ethan, here with, I'm going to actually announce Matt first, second co-host, Matt, and we've got the other co-host kind of dealing with some stuff right now. Barb, you want to say what's going on?
I'm fucking sick. I have bronchitis.
It's going to be the Barb bronchitis pod episode. Some might say it's even better than the Jordan flu game. So we'll see how it goes. But anyways, we're going to kick this off. First thing we're going to go through is the fantasy recap, like we always do. We're then going to hop into the bets, Barb's betting corner. We love those. Everybody's favorite, power rankings right after that. And then, new segment this week, we've got the Playoff Wildcard Showdown, which that's going to be an electric part of the episode. And then we're going to close it out by looking at the look ahead, looking at the matchup. So I'm going to go ahead and open us up here. We have our recap. And kind of a shocker to me, honestly. Adam putting up 141 points.
I don't know.
It was the Dolphins. It was all the Dolphins players. Every Dolphins player he had. They played the Jets. If this man makes the playoffs, all his Dolphins players play the Jets again in week one of the playoffs. So that'd be a terrible matchup for anyone to have to play.
Yeah, I agree. Matt, you have any comments on that?
I mean, still shocking. Still shocking. I don't believe that he is the worst team in the league anymore.
I haven't thought that for a while. I think his team's good. Now, it does hurt David, though. The fact that he was able to put up 118 this week and could have won, I believe, 2-3 games? 4, maybe?
David lost to Matt by about 2. We lost to Joe by under 1. Had the closest loss of the year. Yeah, and David's start sit-em accuracy is like below 84%. It's one of the worst in the leagues, only better than Adam.
Yeah.
He just makes the wrong decision, and it costs him almost every time.
It's tough, for sure.
Could have been one this week with the right start sit-ems. That's
actually insane. We're going to actually skip that middle game on the left because there's a lot to talk about there. Joe dominated Colin. Everybody saw it coming except me. I kind of went against the grain here. I thought Colin could pull something off. He didn't.
No.
Between me and Aaron, I actually called this one. You guys said I was going to win. I was going to win easily. I was like, no. Aaron's team is probably going to beat mine because I'm not performing the way my players, not me. My players aren't performing the way they should. And
this is what happens when you have a coach who you don't respect, and as a player, you don't try as hard. You just don't play. You just don't play as hard, and the coach can't get you motivated for players. And I mean, Ethan loses the division.
I did. I lost the division lead with that. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. We'll move on to the next one down. Matt, huge week from you, dude. You want to talk anything about it?
I mean, that's kind of, I guess it wasn't entirely what I was expecting, but I expected a big performance out of Kyron Williams. So I figured I would probably end up beating Barb, but it would be close. Somehow I ended up beating Barb, and it wasn't, and he still scored 142.
Yeah, insane.
I have a losing record when I score over 140 points. I have a losing record when I score over 140 points.
So crazy.
A losing record.
It's insane.
When I am in the top 3 scoring for the week, I have a losing record.
So, yeah.
In a 12-team league, that should be impossible.
Should be. But, again, Commissioner Barb made the schedule himself. So,
me and Chase actually
can only blame himself.
Me and Chase actually did a deep dive into schedules, and turns out I'd be 11-1 if I had Doug's schedule.
Yeah. No, it's yeah.
Instead, I'm 3-9.
It's tough. You'd be 10-2 with mine, by the way. I looked that up. I had a whole thing.
Yeah, again.
Anyways,
it's terrible. But I'm gonna make the schedule again next year.
You'll figure it out.
We'll see what happens.
Figure it out.
We'll see what happens.
So we go from the highest scoring game of the week to the lowest. Honestly, kind of a crapshoot.
Congrats. Great game.
Congrats to Doug. He got the award of the week with lowest points to win, actually against John, who was the runaway favorite for this award.
Least efficient manager, though. John took a different one.
He did.
And Doug also was the second least amount of points in the entire league, and still ended up with a win.
Yeah.
Yep.
Insane. It's just a gross game in general.
It's like I said, I'm gonna have to hire a whole new defensive staff. Clearly I'm about to take someone's defensive coordinator.
You gotta take John's defense. Whatever he's doing, dude. I mean, he's got super low points against.
Exactly. It's fucking terrible. But Ethan, moving back to the game you skipped.
Game of the week.
And I mean
really good actually.
the best game of the year, by far. I mean, Josh with a win by under 0.1, and want to point out the most efficient manager, which is also scary thinking of Matt scoring 170 and not being the most efficient manager.
Yeah, that's insane. You feel bad for Chase. He was only down. How much was he down going into that game?
He was down like around 6 or 7.
Anyways, it was Hawkinson against Addison in that game. And Joshua Dobbs decided to throw 4 interceptions and lose the ball once. So
to be fair, like most of the interceptions were to Addison.
Yeah, that's kind of the point. So I mean, if receivers got negative points for drop balls that got turned into interceptions, Josh would have lost this game no problem. But he ended up pulling it out, and it honestly came down to the wire too, because the Vikings had the ball last.
Yeah, they threw one last pass, and I mean, they threw it to Osborne, and Chase still could have won if Addison got a lateral and then tried to lateral himself and fumbled it. He would have won.
That is true. That is crazy to think about. Definitely a great game this week. But
super entertaining. And Josh stays the 1 seed, and because of Chase's loss, no one's mathematically out of the playoffs hunt yet.
We have our whole segment about it. I'm very excited about it. We will get into it, but first and foremost, just round of applause. Fun week. Thank you to these award winners down here. We like to give these out. Obviously,
I'm just sad I saw mine coming from a mile away. I'm just sad that I said they
You're
were
the
going
runaway
for over
favorite.
60.
I
said they were going for over 60 on me. I knew my former running backs were going to do it.
I believe they went over 70.
They had 68 or 60.
Oh, nice.
They were so close.
They were so close.
So
All right. But we'll go on. We'll move on to the bets. Slightly more, probably a better thing for us. Well, not for you, Barb. Again, losing.
Again, I'm not going worse than 1 unit, though. I'm not going worse than 1 unit. I'm keeping it. When I lose, I don't lose big normally.
Yep. Matt, you had a huge week, dude. You didn't even put in that many bets.
Quietly. There's not been a whole lot of talk in the group chat about bets anymore. Just kind of staying quiet about what sides I'm on. I think that it has to do with the jinxing curse. I don't really know what's going on there, but if you watch the pod, I gave you the parlay, which I don't understand why anybody wouldn't like. FSU and Alabama both had chances to blow it.
So did Washington, to be fair.
I would have preferred that it did get blown, but it is what it is.
Hey, look, you hedged your happiness, and it worked out well for you.
Yeah.
I feel like Matt would have preferred the other happiness. I'm not going to lie there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is, Like when you do these kind of things, it's always going to be bittersweet.
It was sad up there in Auburn.
You pretty much kicked him in the balls as hard as you could and handed him a $10 bill and went, "You should be happy."
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
And unfortunately for me, my God tier parlay didn't hit.
Did not.
No, I even had to take Ole Miss out because that pushed. So I actually had to readjust the odds.
Huh?
I'm not sure how many of mine didn't hit,
but you could try it.
In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think the only ones that didn't hit were Bama and Washington. I think all the other parts of that parlay hit. Yeah.
That's brutal.
Did that interception count at the end of the game?
No, it still wouldn't have covered for this.
I know that. I'm just asking.
It did not count.
I believe the interception counted.
The pick counted. The touchdown did not count.
Yeah, they called the touchdown back.
So I got 17 of 20 legs and then 1 push. So 17 and 19 legs were correct.
Yeah, anybody who has eyesight can see how we did this week. I swept the NFL, which is nice, but then did terrible with the college games. Enough said. I was up 2 units, though. 49ers minus 6.5, lock. Might have to bet them again. We'll see.
Indeed. All right, but we're going to move on, and it's conference championship week in college football, which means
fun week for betting.
Next week, I might have to give you guys some FCS games to bet. It'll be a struggle to find 3 games.
Oh, wait. Can we switch it to basketball?
I mean, we could, but they only release spreads like a day in advance. We're picking Thursday night basketball games.
That's fine.
Yeah, but you're going to
pick Army-Navy.
Yeah, the Army-Navy game you also get to pick. Just wait till bowl season. I'm making you pick all of them.
Oh, gross.
That won't be on the pod, though.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and pop us over to the next screen. We'll get the bets going.
We're going to get into the bets here. And the first one, we got the Broncos at the Texans. Texans are 3.5-point favorite, and the over-under is 75.5. Ethan, who you got here?
The over-under is not 75.5.
Oh, my bad. 47.5. I'm struggling here, Matt. Look, man.
Hey, it's the Barb bronchitis game.
It's the Barb bronchitis game, Matt.
I'm sitting there like, what?
Yeah, so I took the over 47.5. I did not take it 75 because that would be way too high. I took the over in this game. I don't know who's gonna win. So much so that I had to take an over/under. I don't know how much I even trust that, to be honest with you. But I've got the over 47.5 at 1 unit. Matt, what about you?
Confusing one. I honestly didn't like either side of the bet, but I also didn't like over-unders on this bet. I think the Broncos are like the most underrated NFL team right now. I honestly think that they are on a winning streak. They are very, very difficult opponent for anyone that's playing them. They could win probably any game on the remainder of their schedule the way they're playing. Defense is stout, so I don't like taking the over here just because of that reason. I'm not going to blame you for it. But for that reason of what I think with how hot the Broncos are, I think they're going to play a little smarter than the Texans in this game. Texans could make some mistakes. Might be CJ Stroud's first hiccup. Plus 3.5. Take the point where you get them. I like that one.
All right.
I'm gonna be honest. I just went to pop some pills for the bronchitis.
Who you got?
I want to say I took the Broncos money line here.
You did.
I honestly can't. I was gonna say I couldn't really remember. All I'm gonna say is this: the Broncos as a team have been playing really good lately, and in the chat a couple weeks ago, and I still stand by the CJ Stroud should be a legitimate MVP candidate compared to some other people. And I really like the Texans offense, but I went with the Broncos on the road. I really like the way their defense has been playing. Russell Wilson's actually playing pretty solid. And I weirdly enough, the Broncos could easily sneak in the wild card.
Good.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is a pretty solid team, and I mean they have a better record and a better chance than the Bills. So
yeah, that's a good point.
So yeah, give me Denver. Low scoring game.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty much on the same page. I just couldn't pick a team, and so instead I chose overs because I vouch that I will never take an under, ever, unless it's Iowa.
I always hit on my unders, Ethan.
But our next game, Barb, what do you got for that one?
We got the Niners. They're at Philly. Another 47.5 for the over and the under. And the Niners are a road favorite, 3-point favorite. And Matt, we're going to start with you because if I'm not mistaken, you said this might be the biggest bet in a while that you've placed.
Yeah, I'll explain it actually. The 49ers, since losing 3 straight games, have not had a spread set accurately on their team since all season since then. This is the same 49ers team that beat the Cowboys 42-3, or whatever that score was. All right, there's no difference with this 49ers team. When they went on that 3-game skid, Vegas thought, all right, well, we're going to move the lines a little bit. They're not as much of a powerhouse as we originally thought. Look, they're the best team in the NFL. Point blank. Point blank. They have the most all-around roster. They have studs across the board. And a quarterback that simply, when he's protected, doesn't make a lot of mistakes. The Eagles have yet to play their best game. They still are 10-1. Everyone believes that they're the best roster. They are a fantastic NFL team, probably the second best team in the league, but they are not better than the 49ers.
It is nuts. Their only loss is to Zach Wilson.
It is crazy. They will not win this game. 12.5 units. 49ers might.
12.5?
Oh my.
Jesus fucking Christ, Matt.
I honestly feel bad for what I'm about to say. Because at this point, if you're putting 12.5 units on it, I feel bad. I kind of want to ride with you on it. I have Philadelphia money line at just 1 unit because I like him at home, but honestly, Matt, I'll be rooting for the 49ers to win at this point. I will. I'll dive in. I'll go with you, but I've got Philadelphia money line this week for myself.
Understood.
So Matt, I also took the Eagles money line here. Especially just being a home game. I really kind of like Philly at home. They always do manage to win. Philly's a weird team where I feel like they play to their opponent's level, no matter who they're playing. But they always seem to win when doing it. Like, it's a quite strange thing. The Eagles don't look elite against bad teams, and then, I don't know, against good teams, they look just as good. But, I mean, I have Jalen Hurts in fantasy, so give me all the 1-yard bullshit touchdowns I can get. I'm going to take the Eagles to win this one, like 24-21. But I will say this, Matt. I do now hope your bet hits, because this is the equivalent of a lock of the year again, Matt.
Yeah, we need this.
It is.
And one needs to hit since the pod.
I refused to describe or to name it that. I refuse to call it that.
No, you have to, because I mean, when you call it that, you're over right now. So we can't do that. We can't be having that.
But I'm telling you right now, they are hands down the best team in the NFL. They've covered spreads like without any trouble whatsoever. The only trouble that they had covering any spread was against the Buccaneers as a backdoor cover. We hate backdoor covers. Backdoor covers aren't actual covers.
Yeah.
So for that reason,
that's why
49ers 3 points. If you can get them to win by 3 points against anyone, take it. I took the money line, safe side of the bet. They're winning this game.
I don't mind that. I don't.
Yeah, I'm not going to hate on him.
But our last NFL game, we've got the Bengals going to Jacksonville, playing against the Jaguars, who are honestly kind of hot right now.
Yeah, the Jaguars are an 8-point favorite, over under 37.5. I'm going to make this quick. I bought the points down for the first time. I decided to be a bitch. I took the Jags minus 6.5.
I mean, it's honestly smart. You just want them as a touchdown favorite. You don't think they'll do any more than that. And honestly,
the Bengals are ass without Joe Burrow. And it's so sad too for John's team, because Joe Mixon with a healthy Joe Burrow looked like a competent fantasy running back. I think that's fucking gone now.
Yep.
I think almost every single player on the Bengals offense is not a great start now.
That is tough. Matt, who'd you have in that game?
Yeah.
I took the exact same bet as Barb.
Wow.
Another one that I'm not entirely like thrilled about, like the Broncos, because I feel like this one could go a couple of ways. I don't trust the Bengals whatsoever, which is the reason I put more units on this one than the Broncos. But they do play good defense. They play some very good defense. And the Jaguars could struggle to cover the amount of points. Bought it down to 6.5. I think the Jaguars cover 6.5. They win it by a touchdown. Pray to God they make the extra point.
That would be tough if they didn't. But I mean, you have McManus now, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, so it's a win-win there. Yeah, I actually, again, like the Denver-Houston game, I can't pick a side, especially with the spread being the way it is. I can't pick a side. So naturally, I went over. Give me the over 37.5. I think Cincinnati can get at least 14 this game, which would then make it to where Jacksonville only needs to score 21, I believe, right? Or 24. Mm-hmm. Anyways, you guys cover and the over hits. So I can't do math. Somebody else can. But yeah, I've got the over in that game, 37.5.
I like how you took them to cover, but then when you weren't confident enough to take them to cover.
Well, I'm saying for you guys, that's what I'm thinking. Like, if
I don't know, this seems like some dumbass backwards logic. You're like, I think they're winning by 10, but I'm not taking them to cover the spread, which is under 10.
I said I think it's really based off of how much Cincinnati can score, right? Because I don't know what they're like. I don't watch them, and I don't really keep up with the Jaguars too much, anyways. So like,
bro, you literally put Duval in our chat. How dare you say that?
Last week's game was kind of one to not base it off of because they played the Steelers, and those are always going to be low scoring, but they didn't score a whole lot. So,
yeah, I just when I can't pick, I choose over unders, and I never choose unders, so I always choose overs.
As someone who was sick in my bed watching NFL Red Zone, that game definitely made me feel a lot better.
Oh,
definitely
man.
did not make me think about the guns that are around my house.
Oh, great. Definitely wasn't as bad as the Monday night game.
That game was funny because you're a Vikings fan, so I thought about
Oh,
that.
that's not nice. Well, we'll go ahead and move over to the college bets this week. We've got the conference championship games. We've got playoff implications.
Freest money bets of your life here, folks.
This is outstanding stuff for us. First game we got is Oregon Washington, and Oregon comes out as a 9.5 point favorite. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Oh my
9.5.
gosh. That's
You know what, Ethan? I'm gonna keep this short and simple so I can start eating this food because I just got dinner. Oh, take Oregon to cover, folks. They're mad about the game in Seattle. They honestly should have won that. Dan Lanning absolutely fucked up every time. He didn't kick a field goal before the half, didn't kick a field goal in the third. He really just he fucking destroyed his mental game in that one. He really got caught up in the analytics part of it.
Yep.
I think Oregon's going to win this game like by 17. Pac-12 championship games, weirdly enough, are never close. They're always a blowout. And I think the trend continues. And I think the last Pac-12 championship game, the Oregon winning this like 38 to like 21. And I think it wraps up the Heisman for Bo Nix.
Wow. Matt?
I think Oregon has one of the best defenses in the country, and it gets overlooked because people think that their offense is one of the best offenses in the country. Truth is, they are probably, in my opinion, the most, based on performance, complete team in the country. Georgia is easily the most complete, but based on performance, I give the nod to Oregon. Their only loss to Washington was at Washington. It was the college game day game. Mm-hmm. That place was rocking. It was jam-packed, hard to play at. They made way too many mistakes and should have won the game anyways. Oregon should be undefeated right now. 9.5 points is probably an accurate spread. It's a lot of points. Oregon's going to roll in this one. They've got a quarterback that wants to probably end up playing for a national championship. He's the favorite to win the Heisman. And I think he locks it up this week with a big-time performance. Those guys are going to be motivated. They want to avenge that loss. Neutral site. Oregon's going to win this game.
Yeah, I've also got Oregon minus 9.5 in this one. I think it's a good revenge
money
game
line,
for them.
Folks. Washington money line.
Hey, we swept before, and it actually worked out in our favor. Yeah, I've got Oregon minus 9.5. I actually agree with everything you guys said. Revenge game. Oregon made a lot of mistakes. They're not going to make those now. They've had a whole season to kind of iron out the kinks. So yeah, give me Oregon minus 9.5.
I'll say this though, and regardless who wins this game, they're getting the 3 seed. I think Oregon winning, even if FSU wins, they're going to jump them. I think the committee will put them above them. So I think this is pretty much the battle for the 3 seed in the college football playoff. I think the committee is going to want everything possible to not put FSU in the playoffs if they can. I think they will if they win, begrudgingly. But I don't think the committee wants anything to do with this FSU team in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, and then
I'd agree.
Surprisingly, like Texas isn't currently in the playoffs, are they?
No, they're the 7.
That's weird.
But on to the next game. We've got Georgia and Bama. Georgia's a 5.5 point favorite. Over under 54.5. Ethan, why don't we start with you? Who do you got here?
Yeah. So in this game, I've got Georgia, and I've actually bumped up the spread a little bit. I've got a minus 6.5. I want a little bit better odds. I think Georgia can beat Alabama by at least 7, especially with what I saw last week. I mean, if they just use the same schemes that Auburn did, now granted Saban's going to fix those problems, but you use something similar, and Bama's offense just looked like they were lost most of the time, except for on the very last play where our defense looked lost. Anyways, yeah, give me Georgia minus 6.5.
Matt, what about
I'll give you the one spot here that I think is almost going to be irrelevant, and that's Auburn ran the ball very well against Alabama last weekend. And I don't think Georgia has the run game. Not that their run game is worse than Auburn's. It's probably, actually, I know for a fact it's hands down a million times better. Okay. But it's not their strong suit. Georgia's going to win this game by throwing the ball. They're not going to do it running the ball. So the only way that I think Alabama keeps this win close is by defending those receivers, tight ends. Brock Bowers is an animal, and Carson Beck is playing as well as any quarterback in the country in terms of how he's throwing the ball around. Georgia's going to win this game. Hefty units. I want to say I put 8 on this one. I can't entirely remember that.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, you put 8 on this one. You actually put 4 on the Oregon game. So you like that one too.
8 units. This is the way that I see it. Georgia has no business not winning by a touchdown. If they don't win by a touchdown, there's a problem. This is honestly free money. Go ahead and hammer Georgia.
And Barb, you're quite the opposite. Let us know.
Just give me Bama money line right now, folks. Honestly, nothing about this game tells me to pick Bama, except for the fact that it's Alabama. They'll somehow always make the fucking playoffs, and they don't lose SEC championship games. Even the years Georgia won the national, even one of the years Georgia won the national championship, Bama beat the shit out of them in the SEC championship game. And you know what? I honestly wouldn't be shocked if Bama comes out and wins this game like 38-28. So give me Bama money line here. This is going to be a Nick Saban masterclass. He's going to look like shit against Auburn and then turn it right the fuck around and just beat the best team in the country because that's what he fucking does.
Wow. And then our last college game of the week, Barb, it's your second favorite team, Florida State, going up against Louisville. They're favored by only 2.5 in this game. Louisville coming off the loss against Kentucky. The over-under is 47.5. What'd you have in this one?
Took Louisville -5 because, fuck them. Fuck FSU. Just fuck them. Do I think that's going to happen? Absolutely fucking not. I think FSU wins this game. But Louisville -5 because fuck you, Joe.
Calling out one specific person.
Want to say this, by the way, though. I think if Bama beats Georgia, this FSU team will not be in the playoffs. I'm going to guarantee that right now.
Wow.
I'm going to guarantee that.
So you basically made your bets around Florida State just not being in the playoffs.
Yeah, but regardless, FSU winning, if Bama wins and they beat Georgia, I think the committee puts Bama in over them, and they keep Georgia in over them.
Wow. Yeah, I got FSU -6.5 in this one. I think they're a touchdown favorite. I think the 2.5 is too low. So yeah, give me -6.5. It's actually a plus 151. I only put a half unit on it because 6.5 is a lot of points for them. But yeah, I got FSU -6.5. Matt, what do you got for this one?
Interesting matchup to say the least. I think that FSU without their quarterback is, in my opinion, not a playoff team. They did end up beating Florida last week, but I still don't necessarily trust them. And
I wouldn't. Florida's ass.
Louisville giving 3.5 points is enough for me to take the plus points. Personally, I wanted to see FSU in the playoff, but that was before the Jordan Travis injury. Now, I don't really care to see them.
Dang.
I don't. They would have made for an exciting matchup against any of the playoff teams. Not any longer.
Well, seems like I'm the only one that had them high. That's fine. But with that, I'm just going to hop into my parlay for the week. Again, only a half unit this week because I haven't been hitting them. But I've actually got the Cowboys money line this week. They're playing the Seahawks. I think they win that game pretty easily. I've got Texas money line. I believe they're playing Oklahoma State. I think Texas will beat them pretty handily as well. Georgia money line. I've got FSU -2.5 this time because obviously if I have 6.5, I definitely think they can win at 2.5. I've got Oregon -9.5 in there as well. I've got Navy money line, believe it or not. And my last one, kind of shocking to some people, I've got the over in the Michigan-Iowa game, over 35.
Ethan, your as the Navy Army game's next.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Well,
that's a really long parlay. Good.
Really
Let's hope it doesn't make it that far. Honestly, at this point, then.
Yeah, I already chose the game. There you go. I might switch up next week. We'll see. But yeah, I've got the Navy money line as well because apparently DraftKings allowed me to do that.
Yep. See, mine's a lot maybe a little more, but I took Oregon, Texas, and Michigan money lines. Tulane's playing SMU with their backup quarterback. SMU starter got injured last week. He's out. Tulane -3.5. Give me the Dolphins and the Jaguars money line. And then I took 3 soccer just money lines. These are huge favorites at home. So,
Okay.
Yeah, they added almost nothing to this parlay, by the way.
Then why'd you put them in?
Because they're going to win. So it's free money.
There you go. Free money. Matt, you want to close us out here?
Yeah. just put this in perspective, the Chargers, they played the Patriots this week. And the Patriots even had who was it that was dapping up Saquon Barkley? Did y'all see that video?
Yeah, Jabril Peppers.
Jabril Peppers. Even Jabril Peppers was saying, "You lucky we're ass." All right, the Patriots are ass. The Chargers are going to win that game. Minus 250 on the money line, not bad. Put that in the parlay. Take the Dolphins. The Dolphins are playing the Commanders. Yeah, I mean the Commanders are basically the cum stains, like I always say. They're going to end up blowing them out the water. This isn't going to be a competition. The 49ers, minus 150.
You do like
basically
that.
Right there for you. 12.5 units on that money line. That's how confident I am. That's the best team in the NFL. That is the best team in the NFL. They're going to prove it this week. I think they actually win by double digits. Win it by double digits.
Matt, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to need some proof that you've called the Commanders the cum stains. I'm going to need proof of that.
That is gross.
I'll show you in the group chat. I'll send a screenshot later.
I'm going to need the proof of that. I do not remember that.
Georgia,
I got more pills. I got more pills.
Yeah. So, yeah, Matt at a plus 320 this week, 2.5 units on it. Very confident. Honestly, you hit one last week. That was pretty good. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break here. We've got the power rankings coming up next, which everybody
I'm going to go do drugs.
And Barb's going to go do some drugs. So we'll be right back. Hey, guys, really quick, just have to chime in here. Forgot to make the bets on the big screen. Here they are now. Go ahead and take your screenshots. I do apologize, but I am trying to get this podcast to you. So here you go. All right, back from the break. We've got the power rankings ahead of us right now, and let's not wait. Barb, go ahead and kick us off with the poop spot.
All right. God damn it, not working. All right, number 12 in the poop spot. We got a new name. It's Ethan, it's gay, and it's David falling down 2 spots. And
David's back. The committee hates his team. He hates his team. Yeah, it's just tough. Needs to perform.
It's a brutal situation.
Yep, we're going quick. All right, number 11. It's still Colin. Honestly, this man probably could be in the poop spot, but he's not.
Yeah, Colin's team probably is the worst. Let's be real. But he did outscore 2 people last week, for certain, Doug and John. But still, overall, collectively, this roster ain't it. Like I said last week, no Mark Andrews.
All right, moving on to number 10, and he's up to, it is our resident Jew. It's Get Your Other Free Win. It's Adam, finally out of the poop spot.
He is out of the poop spot, and he's about to be out of this country. He's actually going to France, hopefully to get some better teammates. We'll see, but he's on the rise, and even has a chance at the playoffs still, like every other team I've mentioned.
He's going to meet a French girl. All right, moving on to number 9. It's John at 6-6. What do you think of this?
John was your lowest score of the week last week, right? So I think he's known his team is not what it could be, what it should be. He has a record that's now probably where it deserves, still higher than Chase, but he's where it deserves to be.
All right, that's fair. And then up 1 spot to number 8, it's ready for the toilet bowl. It's me, somehow still alive for the playoffs.
Somehow still alive at 3-9. Team has just been unfortunate matchup after unfortunate matchup. Again, losing to the highest score this week. I believe that's 5 times. Just tough matchups for the kid. Team's good. Moving on.
All right, and rounding it off, and down 5 spots, it's Auction Draft Travis. It's Ethan with an updated logo as well, but this team's fallen off a cliff.
Every trade, you must make a risk when you make the trade. And for Ethan, the trade should have paid off. It has not paid off. I have no idea what in the world is going on with Cooper Kupp. Injuries, just not performing, all of it. Brutal for him to drop from 2 to 7. But he's going to be alive in the playoffs. We'll see how it goes.
We will see. All right, well, that's the bottom 6. Matt, I was going to say, Ethan. Oh, Olivia's here now. Yeah, so, Matt, I feel like you were a bit caught off guard by the fact I said Adam's going to meet a French girl.
That was wild. No, I wasn't necessarily
Yeah.
I was just like, huh?
Indeed, Adam is going to hang out with some French girl in the Alps for a week.
Hey, Adam, major props to you. Proud. Go see your French girl. That's hype. I don't want to expose his personal information, so I don't want to ask you questions.
That's what me and Ethan are for.
I was going to ask questions, but I'm not going to. I don't know if he wants the podcast to see it.
That it'll be perfect. He'll never know about it because he doesn't look at the group chat or he'll watch this pod. So he'd never know. But,
for what it's worth, probably not.
Yeah. Well, now that Ethan's back, Ethan, we're going to ask. Oh, completely fine. We're going to ask you this question here, Ethan. Do you feel your 5-spot drop was justified?
Yeah. The rest of the league, thank you for putting me up all the way at 2. I'll be quite honest with you, fellas. I was probably 5 or 6 in our rankings last week, so thank you to the league. But yeah, I believe it is justified. The team kind of sucks right now. Team is kind of full of some barbs, just low energy, can't perform the way they need to. So, yeah.
I am pretty low energy right now.
It's pretty bad when you got a team that's full of some barbs.
Yeah, I got some barbs on my team.
Oh.
So, honestly, the fact that your team outscored some people proves that you do not have barbs on your team.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Well, let's talk about this real quick. Barb's team competing with yours to be the best team on this list. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think so. And honestly,
if you go by points for, my team's actually much better.
Exactly. Based on points for,
John's a little high. I would put. Call me crazy. I think I put Adam above John in this situation. Adam's hot right now. He was 3 and 9.
Adam is hot right now.
Ethan, that's why he's talking to French chicks, bro.
Adam, hey, he's got the swagger back. I've got my swagger back. That's Adam right now.
John really needs Stephon Diggs to pull up for him and start performing the way that he was the first 10.
And what a perfect time. What a perfect time. It's Stephon Diggs' bye week.
Yeah, great for John. Yeah, no, I think Barb and I do have the best teams on the list. If you look at projected records to begin the season, I believe, because I was using a site for some other stuff. Barb, your projected record before the season started was 9 and 5. Just want to point that out.
Technically, you looked at that before I made the schedule.
No, that was with.
Oh, that was with the change? Okay.
Yeah. Your projected was 9 and 5 based on a different site that I used.
Yeah, I want to point out I'm only 41 points back of the highest points for in our league, which is now Matt.
Sorry, it's 7 o'clock and someone just tried to call the office, so that was
pick up. Put him on.
We got a call-in question from some random person.
This is LIV Fantasy Football Podcast.
I'd fucking cry I would cry if you picked up. They're like, "Fuck you," and just hung up.
Oh man. Hey, what do you guys think of the new logo that I got?
I like it. I didn't realize until just now that was. Is that your face?
That is not. That is Travis Kelce's face.
Oh, never mind. It would have been a lot cooler if that was your face.
All right, it'll be my face next week, ladies and gentlemen.
No, we can't have 2 logos with your face on it. We already got yours down here.
Oh, true. Yeah. That's a good point. Because it does kind of look like my face, though. I look like Travis Kelce's face.
I looked at it at first and I was like, wait a second. Yeah, I don't know. What?
He keeps going in and out.
I love TS.
Taylor Swift, man. Taylor Swift.
I guess that's Travis Kelce's face.
Yeah. I'm also not gonna lie. I think John's logo might need an update to just an actual bottle of Jack, the way his team's been performing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take the Auburn out.
Although the Auburn actually fits kind of well with what happened.
It's 6-6. Auburn 6-6. Iron Bowl defeat. Pretty measurable. I think that suits.
Fair enough. Any hot takes in here before we move on to the top 6?
Hot take. Biggest hot take.
Yeah.
David will be paying for the winner's buy-in next year when he finishes last in the toilet bowl.
Wow.
Really that's the punishment for last now, guys. We're too late into the season for me to allow someone to make a fucking terrible punishment.
That's fair.
Next year, though, we will do a punishment wheel.
We have to submit
on top of you paying for first place.
Yeah. So you have to submit, for those that will be in the league next year, you do have to submit your punishment before the season starts. That has to happen. It
actually has to be before the draft. You cannot know your team at all before you submit a punishment.
That's fair.
Well understood.
Matt, do you have a hot take here?
Yeah, my hot take is that based on what we've found out this week, Barb could be 11-1 with Doug's schedule. Barb Barb could be better have a better record overall with anyone else's schedule.
I don't have less than 5 wins with any other schedule.
So my hot take is there is a very good chance I think Barb's team might actually be the best team down here on this list. Ethan, you're the only one that competes. You might be better, but that would be my hot take. He will not be postseason bound because Chase does find a way to get in this week, is what I think.
What you guys don't know is I'm already the 1 seed. Like, that can't be changed.
Commissioner Powers, he is the 1 seed.
I base the playoffs on Ethan's power rankings to start the year. So if you were not in the top 8 for that, you are not in the playoffs.
Ooh, gross. Yeah, I guess my hot take, honestly, give me Colin making the playoffs.
Oh.
Yeah. Call me crazy.
Who do you have not making it, Chase or John? Or do you have, because it has to be one or the other.
I know. I don't think John makes it. Colin makes it, John does not. That's what I've got.
I don't think Colin has the points to.
He is 34 back of John with 2 weeks
34.
left. Him and Adam are 34 points back of John. That's why John hasn't clinched.
That's why it's my hot take, Matt.
Yeah.
Colin, it's time to pull up, brother.
I mean, he's playing you, Matt.
That's a good point.
Well, sorry, Colin.
He's actually going to be projected to win once he plugs in 2 receivers.
Anyways, that's been our bottom 6. Let's move on to the top 6, the fun side of the 6. Show it to us.
I don't know. I kind of like this side. Let's stay here.
No, move on. Please.
All right, coming in at number 6, it's our boy Doug with the logo. And it's Sig Rippin' Batman. He somehow wins a game, moves up into the division lead, and goes down a spot.
Yeah, that's a little weird. But hey, the teams ahead of him are there for a reason. We're kind of low on Doug's team, but hey, top of the leaderboard have to have the top 6.
All right. And then we got Aaron back up to number 5. And, solid win for Aaron against Ethan. And this man's team's sitting at 8-4, even without Tyreek.
Yeah, big time win for him. He's gonna be fine. He's gonna be all right. He's gonna make the postseason. But again, this team doesn't blow you out of the water like it maybe used to with Tyreek and everything. Josh Allen did carry this team last week, so we'll see.
Was carried by the Joshes. Coming in at number 4, you know him, you love him.
No,
it's Chase's Gay. It's 8-4, and it's Joe.
I have to completely agree with the you love him part. No, I don't like the Chase's Gay team, but he's locked into the playoffs, 8-4. Team's been able to put together some wins and actually put together some good points too. So there's a reason he's in the top 4.
Was the second highest scorer last week. All right, moving on. Great logo as well. It's Chase Nugget 31. He's sitting here still at number 3. Only person here with less than 7 wins. Only one under 500.
Yeah, Chase's team still powerhouse. They should have found a way to win last week. They did not. That's 2 brutal blows back-to-back weeks. 0.06 is more brutal than the one previously, but his team will get right. They'll be fine. I expect them to walk into the playoffs at 7-7, and he's already said seeding doesn't matter. Putting his money where his mouth is. We'll see.
All right, and then at number 2, he's got a new logo. It's We Back Up. It's man. He's up 5 spots. Him and Ethan have just completely swapped places, and I mean, what a performance for this man last week.
Yeah, no, we swapped places. He put up 170 last week. I mean, this team with Kyron Williams back, honestly, I wanted to put him in first, but he's not. Anyways, great team. Honestly, playoff championship bound.
Only person to break 170 in the league. He's now done it twice, and he's still at number 1. It's Josh, and he's the 1 seed in our league as well.
Yeah, Josh is he's earned the 1 seed. He's tied for the best record, but again, what's most impressive is that he's done this entirely without Justin Jefferson. I think he's going to be just fine. Look for him to cruise to the postseason. He potentially right now might not be starting a roster that you're expecting to see. We'll have to wait and figure out how that plays out. But deserving of the 1 seed for sure.
So Josh really took my every player on your team must have a minimum projection of over 4, and your total projection for the week must be at least 85 to heart. Because he's got Braxton Berrios, who's projected 4.1, and his total projection for the week is 85.6.
He's playing Adam, right?
Yeah, he's playing Adam. He is intentionally trying to throw the game.
I wouldn't say he's throwing. I would say he's resting his players.
Throwing the game.
I believe he's resting his players. Matt, would you agree that he's just resting his players?
Well, it's certainly something that I'm not accustomed to doing, so I don't really know. This is uncharted territory here. I guess maybe he's doing both.
It is a little weird. Especially from the first overall team, number 1 overall team. You'd think he'd stay up.
This is gonna 100% take away the division from him. Aaron and Joe are tied at 8-4 with him, and they play each other. So the winner of that game is probably gonna move to the 1 seed in our league.
Well, here's what I'll say. I don't know why he's doing this entirely, because if it was about the fact that Chase sneaks in as the 8th seed, right, and Josh ends up being the 1 seed, then why wouldn't he have just simply benched Addison last week going into the game?
I believe Josh is trying to potentially knock Chase out of the playoffs here, Matt.
We'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah, I mean, a Chase loss this week plus an Adam win, they have the same record. And then,
Correct.
week 14, Adam plays John, Chase plays Doug. Who knows?
Could be a lot of collusion going on. Maybe
could be a lot. Also, want to point out as well, Ethan plays Colin. If Colin beats you this week, man, maybe Ethan rests his players next week. There's a lot of stuff people are looking at in terms of seeding.
That can happen. We will get into that, by the way.
I will be
starting
my regular roster, and I plan to mow down anybody in my path.
Well, you play Joe next week, so.
Oh boy!
Hey, I cannot wait for that.
Could be for the division.
Matt, are you going to be the first overall? Are you be number 1 going into the playoffs?
Matt, it will be, no matter what, a minimum of a game back next week, because obviously Chase and Joe play each other. But if Joe wins, the Joe Matt game's for the division.
That is fun.
Unless Josh somehow sneaks a win. I like, if Josh somehow wins, I mean, with tough. That lineup, fucking Christ.
I don't really have a huge hot take here besides. Yeah, I don't really have anything.
I think I still have my hot take. Hot take here. Chase loses this week. Next week matters to him. Karma catches up with Josh for doing this. He gets bounced first round of the playoffs.
Ooh.
Wow. That's a hot take.
Dang.
2 Matt. I'm going 2 Matt.
Yeah, I guess actually to kind of go off that, my hot take still stands from last week in terms of championship bound. Give me Doug and Josh. I still think Doug wins. I'll continue with that hot take. That's what I've got.
Interesting. My hot take is that I now have the coolest logo of all of them. There's the Zen Cool Mint with I think that's the Yeti walking across. That's pretty badass.
Ethan, why didn't you get like a picture of Matt walking across?
Well, the Yeti fits. I mean, Matt's just not going to be walking on a mountain of a Zen pouch. He's just not.
He'll
be deep diving in the Zen pouch. He's in there. The Yeti's on top, just kind of hanging out.
So Matt, is that your hot take that you just like your logo?
I don't know if I really have a hot take on this list. I will, in terms of the league, what my hot take would be is that the top 4 right here will be, if they don't play each other, which they likely will in terms of seeding. These are your 4 best teams in the league. These are the teams that I would see as your semifinals. I don't know if it's going to be possible for them to actually be the semifinalists based on matchups, but that's what it should be. If we were the college football playoff committee, I think that's how it should play out.
Hey, let's be real. If we're going off points for, I should be there too.
You're right.
Yeah.
Would be first, Chase or Josh is second, right?
Like I said, next year there's no schedule. It's just the average.
I don't think it's even the drop off in strength of schedule between Barb and the next team is immense.
No, Colin's like right there.
You think so? In terms of strength of schedule?
Colin's points for is only 17, or points against only 17 away from me.
Oh, that's fair.
Tough scene.
Still brutal.
Yeah, Matt, me and Colin have gotten Matt on his over 170 point weeks.
Gosh. Yeah, that'll do it to you.
This continues my streak though. If I don't win, I play someone who's in the top 4 scoring for the week. I play first.
So
still can't go under 100 though. Still can't go under 100.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's our top 6, and we are going to take a break, but we do have our playoff scenarios breakdowns coming up next. Very fun stuff, so stick around. We'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. It's your host, Ethan, here inside the break to let you know that this episode of the LIV Fantasy Football Podcast is brought to you by Spotify. Hey, look, playoffs can be a very stressful time. If you need music that can calm you down, Spotify has that. Or if you need music that can hype your players up to make sure that they put up the points they're supposed to, they've got music for that. And they also have one of the greatest things ever to exist, Spotify Wrapped. Everybody's posting about it. You get to see everybody's favorite music. It's the best. And honestly, if you don't know about it, you're Patrick Starr, a.k.a. you're living under a rock. Anyways, thank you to Spotify for sponsoring the LIV Fantasy Football Podcast and the LIV Fantasy Football League. Now, let's get back to our playoff.
All right, welcome back from the break. As you can see ahead of me, we have our fantasy football playoffs. Barb, just hit next really quick. Show us who's in. As of right now, 7 wins is the lucky number. 6 of our teams have 7 or more wins. Myself, Matt included. And then the rest of the top 6. I'm the only one that made the playoffs already that's not in the top 6. I'm okay with that.
I mean, you also have the rest of the top 6. Chase is not over here.
Oh, true. Anyways, people in the hunt. This one is where it gets fun. As you can see, we have a 6-6 team, a 5-7 team, 3, 4, and 8 teams, and a 3 and 9 team. They are all still in the hunt for the playoffs. It's really exciting stuff. And to break down the scenarios, we've actually got a slide for each of these 6 teams. Barb, you go to the next one.
All right.
So as you can see here, this is Team Stevenson John. He's got the Auburn logo. He actually has the best odds to make the playoffs. And yes, I promise you, I did some math. These are his current odds at the moment. As you can see, he has a couple scenarios. He just has to win one of his next 2 games, and he's in. Or there is a chance that he still gets in if he loses both games. Okay? He just still has to have more points for. That's it. What do you think?
Minus 19,000?
Yes, he's got a 99.9998% chance to make the playoffs.
Okay, then that makes sense then. I was being mistaken for something else. I was like, what in the hell? Now it makes sense.
The reason being is because both Colin and Adam, they have to win out. Either one of them has to win out
and
for him to not make it. And
points for.
However, there is a note at the bottom. With a loss this week and a win for Adam, his odds drop all the way down to a minus 186, which is why that game between Adam and Josh is huge for John. Huge.
It's also not high. The Colin one against Matt. I mean, somehow Colin's got a projection higher.
So, yeah. As you can see, I mean, these odds are anticipating that every team starts their full lineups. But as we've slightly talked about, some people are not putting their best players in, and they're resting some players.
Who knows who that is?
We don't know. we don't know. But yeah, as of right now, John has the best odds to make the playoffs. So if you're a betting man, I would probably not put any money on this just because of the note that I had to add.
Lifetime savings lock, according to Ethan Betchon.
With a loss this week, he normally would only be at a minus 12,000 because, again, he just has to win one of the 2 games or just keep his points for above the people below him, which he's already ahead. But 2 losses in a row is going to kill him.
On to the next person. You're going to have to tell me one every time.
Yeah, we can go on to the next person here. Next person we have is Team Chase Nugent. Chase Nugget, as everybody likes to call him. That's his logo. But he's got much lower odds than John does. which is weird considering that Chase is obviously the favorite this week. But the reason being is because Chase is 5-7. He only has one game on 3 teams behind him and 2 games on Barb. So again, he just has to win one of the next 2 games. The reason being because his points for is so high that the 4 and 8 teams cannot catch him. But also, if he does lose the next 2 games, he still has a decent chance of making it. So reason being is because Colin, David, and Adam, they just have to lose 1 game out of their next 2, and he's in. So that's kind of the breakdown for Chase. And it is possible that even if Barb wins out and Chase loses out, that Barb still does not make it because of the points for situation.
I don't actually know what my points for situation. So I have 1481, and he has 50. I am 31 back of him.
So it's still possible that even with Chase losing out, Barb winning out, and the rest of the stuff happening, that he still does get in, which is why his odds are still minus over 1,000, even with the loss this week. I don't know if you guys have any comments on this, on what you're seeing, but
we're going to keep letting it go.
But now we get into the fun side. People that need to find a way to get in. We saw the 2 teams that are already in the playoffs and have very good odds of making it. But this is where we get a little frisky. I'm going to let you guys kind of read this out and give me any questions you have.
I assume this is David. I can't see the top because of the way that we...
Yes. This is team Ethan is gay.
Plus 62.93.
Which is actually the best odds of the teams that need to get in. Our poop spot has the best chances of making the playoffs.
And this also isn't factoring in that Josh will 100% rest players again against David if there's a chance that he knocks Chase out of the playoffs.
Yeah. So his playoff odds are at a plus 6,293. With a win this week, he drops it down to a plus 3,800, which is fun. We like to see that. He does need to win his next 2 games, and the only way that he can get in, because his points for isn't high enough to catch John, is that Chase has to lose his next 2 games. That's the only problem.
Yeah, Chase winning eliminates, I assume, me and David, but not Colin and Adam.
That is correct. Yes. So that's kind of the little caveat there. So yeah, David's going to be a huge John fan this week. And the next person we have, I
assume this is mine.
Yes, the next best odds is ready for the toilet bowl. It is Barb. Believe it or not, he actually does have the next best odds, and that's because his team, again, is very good. He just has crappy luck, right? So he's projected to win most of his games. It's just that he's so far out of the playoff picture that he's got short odds. What do you got?
I assume the plus 2249 if I win factors in that Chase has lost.
That is correct, yes. Chase would have to lose for you to make it, which is part of this scenario that we have up for you. So you need to win the next 2 games, and Chase has to lose.
Chase, I'm benching your players.
Everybody who's above you right now has to lose at least one of the next 2 games.
Yeah, we're good at me and that group of people are pretty good at losing games.
So there's a lot of ands for you, Barb, which is why your odds are almost at 10,000. But honestly, a win this week helps you out a lot.
I don't even know why they're plus. I'm the commissioner. They should be whatever the fuck I think they should be.
That's cool.
So yeah, if you're gonna bet on anybody, honestly, Barb could be a little frisky and make the playoffs somehow.
Absolutely not. Bet on Adam.
Yeah. So we've got, I believe we have Colin next. If I'm not mistaken.
Plus 19? Jesus Christ.
These odds are getting insane at this point. Yes.
Matt, would you take that?
Is a very, very long shot.
Throw $1 at it.
So, I mean, if you want to take it, I'll be the bookie.
Yeah, Ethan will be your bookie for these.
I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that.
No, Ethan. Nope, this is official. If anyone wants to take these bets, Ethan's your bookie.
I'm not doing that.
Ethan is getting a Venmo team balls to the postseason.
I did make these scenarios. The only problem is there's definitely going to be some collusion involved if I do that.
That's on you for not factoring that in Vegas.
I do kind of control Colin's destiny because I do play in week 14. But his odds this week are at a plus 19,476. He has a couple scenarios to get in. Thankfully, the Chase John game doesn't affect him too much. It just affects the scenarios past that.
He needs a low-scoring game in that, regardless.
Yes. So
he wants an under 100 from both.
Yes. So he needs to win the next two, guaranteed. And if John loses, then John needs to lose the next two games. Both of them do. And he has to score more points than both Adam's team, which is get your other free win, and he has to score more points than John's team, which he's only about 30-something points back. That's the way that he gets in, and it's still possible. And if John wins and Chase loses, the way that he gets in is the same way that Adam does, which is Chase loses both games, and by record, Colin would get in, not by points for. That's the only difference between the John and the Chase one. So,
as you can tell, it's definitely not factoring in Josh's team not starting half his lineup.
So the reason that these odds are at a plus 31,588 is because going into making these odds, Adam only had a 7% chance to beat Josh this week. As you can see, his odds significantly improve if he gets a win this week.
Matt, you want to combine and throw 5 each on this to make a $10 bet that Ethan has to pay out for?
I think we should show it to Vegas and tell them to honor it.
I don't think they'll take that. There's definitely going to be collision.
You'll literally have John bench his entire team to Adam, so Adam makes it if he makes this bet on Ethan.
Yeah. So anyways, pretty much the exact same scenario as Colin. And there is a situation where Adam wins out. He beats John, who theoretically should take his playoff spot, right? Well, you'd be wrong because if Colin scores more points than both of them, he actually sneaks in.
For next year, I should probably factor
Which would be tough.
For next year in terms of playoff seedings, I should probably make head-to-head the actual, tiebreaker.
Could do that. Same thing with Chase. Again, all these teams that are on the outside looking in are banking on the fact that either John or Chase loses the next two games. And it's very possible because one of them is guaranteed to lose this week.
Yeah, that's who you're rooting against if you're these teams, whoever loses this week.
So I know we went through these kind of quick. But you can, again, pause at any point in time, look at the playoff scenarios. I wrote them out. I spent way too much time on it. But yeah, everybody's still got a chance. Some people's are better than others.
All I'm seeing here is if John wins, it doesn't matter the score. If Chase wins, you want John to drop under 90.
Correct. Yes. In basically every scenario that happens. Now, the biggest thing, if every team still wants to be in it, they all have to win. All the teams that are out have to win out.
Or pay me enough money.
Best case would be that Chase actually loses out because then every single team has a chance.
Well, I got to apologize to Colin. I play this week, buddy.
That is tough.
You can go ahead and get through this.
It's tough. That's why his odds were at almost plus 20,000.
Point proven. If Colin does beat Matt clearly colluded to get Chase out of the playoffs. That is now being proven.
Can definitely happen.
So I want to point out this. So next week, I hope all you have updated playoff scenario odds on top of seeding odds for everyone. I expect how Josh can be seed 1 through 7 and all the scenarios for next week.
We can get into those next week. I couldn't get into seeding this week.
I want odds for each scenario as well, by the way.
That's going to take a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably not doing that.
Nope. Requested. It's been requested.
I'll do it for $1,000.
Hey.
I will stop making fun of you for a day.
Oh, it's not worth $1,000?
It's hard for me not to make fun of you for a day.
Whatever. I'll think about it. But I would also.
All right, Ethan's doing it. Confirmed. All right, moving on. Look ahead.
First game.
Give me Ethan by 5.
5?
Give me Ethan 115 to 110. That's it.
I don't think I hit my projection. Honestly, Barb, I think your team kind of pops off. I might go on a losing streak going into the playoffs. I could potentially end the season 7-7.
Yeah. I'm going to take Barb in this one, actually.
Nah, we're sick. Team's sick. Trust me. We're sick. Not a good look this week.
Your team has just been playing too well lately. Unfortunate losses for you. That's what's keeping you out. And I get that win. 4-9.
I agree. I'm going to be 7-6. This is going to be terrible.
Nah, team's sick.
That's a team you don't want to play right there, Barb's team.
This is the fun one.
Then I'll let you pick this one first.
This is the fun one. As you can see, Josh's projection is very low, which is weird considering he has 91.5% accuracy and he's normally projected somewhere in the 120s. Interesting that he's only at 85. Some would say that he's resting players, resting them for the playoffs. Adam's team, with the lowest start set accuracy, needs a win this week to get into the playoffs. Might be a little something happening there. That's why I got Adam this week. I want to keep things interesting for the playoff scenarios. I don't want things to be locked up a week early. Give me Adam.
Yeah, I think Josh is throwing this one. Resting starters, throwing it, whatever you want to call it. Adam's team has played well enough that this would at least be competitive, even if Josh were starting his official starting lineup. Give me Adam. Josh's team just is not motivated for this one.
Give me blowout of the week. Give me Adam. Give me Adam to win this game 110-90. I mean, fucking Braxton Berrios and I believe Tanner Hudson are rocking in Josh's lineup. Who knows? I mean, look, Braxton Berrios drops a 30 and, Justin Jefferson, fucking who? I don't know. Never heard of him.
Be tough. He's still starting all his running backs, by the way.
He physically could not drop any more players. That is why.
Yep. So there's still a chance that Josh wins this game somehow.
I want to point out, Josh didn't want to pick up a tight end. I told him he could not leave a spot in his roster blank.
That is true.
Adam, when you win this week, show that French girl.
Indeed. Show her you have dominated in fantasy football. Don't show her the dude's lineup. Say Braxton Berrios is a top 5 player in the league.
Oh, gosh. Next
All
game.
right, moving on. We got another great. We got Chase, and this is pretty much the battle for the 1 seed because Josh is trying to throw the game.
It's the chase off.
It is the chase off. Is Chase a verb or is Chase gay? We're going to find out here. Matt, which one? Chase gay or Chase is a verb?
Well, Chase, I don't believe to be gay, but Chase is gay. The team will win.
Wow.
Aaron's won some games. He snuck by some people. Joe's team is just too all around for me to pick Aaron. And I feel terrible now because this is back-to-back weeks I've picked against Aaron. Aaron, buddy, I really don't know what else to say.
Probably helps him.
You won last week, but I've got Joe's team.
Barb, what about you?
Yeah, give me Joe's team, honestly. Give me mid game of the week right here. This is like 120 to 100 game. This is a very mid game. I don't know. Aaron's having to play Antonio Gibson. Like, it's a weird time. This is the week 13, 14 bye week. And the Raiders. Justin Tucker is on a bye. James Cook's on a bye. Josh Jacobs is on a bye. Josh Allen's on a bye.
Yep.
Aaron ain't winning this game.
Yeah, I have to agree with you guys. It's just a tough week for buys for Aaron, but he's already locked into the playoffs. Again, none of these teams really need to win this game. They honestly could rest their players like Josh is doing and still be perfectly okay. But I've got Joe in this one. I think Joe is too prideful to let the 1 seed slip out of his hands. Yeah, just give me Joe in this one. Clean sweep.
All right, on to the next one. We've got Colin versus Matt. So just for projection wise, Colin still has two zeros.
Mm-hmm.
If you take Godwin and Dotson, that is an extra 22.1 points. So he's actually projected to win this game by about 3.
Which is weird, Matt. I noticed that you have the entire Bears roster, which just so happens to be on a bye this week.
Sorry, my internet connection went out there for a second. Anyways, I didn't hear anything you just said, but to comment on this game, I do think that Colin's team will have better projections based on the fact that he's filling in those voids. This will be a closer matchup than maybe it should be. I still think I'm going to end up winning. Kyron Williams and Christian McCaffrey, I just can't bet against them right now. If I was unbiased and I was coming from a different perspective, that would be my take.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The McCaffrey-Kyron backfield is far and away the best running back duo in the league. Still don't know how you got them both, but you got them. The only issue you have this week is the fact that you have the entire Bears roster on your team. So you have a lot of buys. But that's it. I think that McCaffrey and Kieran can carry you enough to beat Colin this week, which is really unfortunate. I want Colin to be alive for the playoffs when I play him, but probably won't happen.
All I'm going to say is look into collusion with that. That Matt's roster was my second team, and they somehow got all my good players. Definite collusion here. I sent them all to my backup team because my starting team's record was too bad.
Good point.
Big brain.
I still have the best start accuracy in the league, so just gonna put that up.
That was
hard not to when you don't have a bench.
Helped by me. Give me Colin upset of the week here. Give me Colin to win this game by like 4 points.
What?
I think the projection's almost going to be not dead on for it, but like the difference will be dead on. I think Matt's going to put up like 118 points. But I think this is just a really good week for Colin. I think his running backs are going to combine to have not as good of a week as your two, but I think they'll put up around 45 combined. I think it's a great week for Bijan and them, especially against the Jets. I feel like he's going to catch a lot. And Etienne's going to have a pretty good game again. So give me Colin, give me an upset, keeping him alive for the playoffs.
Just don't know about that.
And this game almost is going to solidify Joe as like the one as the division winner.
Damn.
That is true.
Shitting on it.
Believe we have one more game before game of the week.
Matt, you're my second
crappy
team,
game in my opinion. This game is going to be not fun for me. It'll probably be the closest game of the week, and David needs it a lot. As you can see, Doug doesn't need this game at all,
except for the
to
division.
be quite honest with you. So if Doug cares about seeding in the playoffs, then he could potentially do that, but he'd have to be dealing with the 7 or 8 seed. I believe most likely the 7. But David needs this game in a big way. And who knows? Doug may end up resting his players. There were some rumors going around that he might do that. So with that in mind, I'm actually going to take David this week.
I've talked to David personally. He said his season's over already. He's given up hope, and I think that's rubbed off on the players. Give me Doug. Give me Doug by like 12 points. This game's going to wrap up. I think this game is the game that pushes Doug to... I think it's a great week for Doug as well. And I'm going to have Doug as my division winner.
Wow.
For that side. Not a great division, to be honest.
Yeah, those autistic... Or no, were they autistic?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, those autistic guys over there.
Were they the slithery snakes or whatever?
Yeah. You are the slithery snakes.
And, I mean, this is Ethan's champion.
It is.
In Doug. Not a good news for Doug, as Ethan had me as the best team in the league after the draft. So we'll see how that one goes. But, Matt, who do you got here?
Give me Doug. I think that David's team has given up. They've quit. David's given up hope. He will still try and get this win, but Doug's team is better, and I'm going off of the idea that Doug doesn't do anything like Josh. Doug starts a full roster, regular roster. Doug team wins.
Barb, did you pick this game?
I did.
Okay. Game of the week.
3, 2, 1, go! Breakfast.
Yep. All right.
This one is legitimately, because we talked about it, for a playoff spot.
Yep. Winner's locked in.
Winner is guaranteed to make the playoff in this game. Oh man, it's gonna be.
There's
fun.
Actually a chance that the playoffs get locked up regardless of who wins or not. If Adam, Colin, and David all lose.
That is true, but this one's more important. this one's more important.
The projection's pretty much accurate.
So, Matt, I want you to go first, actually.
I'm glad I'm going first because I think you guys are gonna probably make your picks based on what you would appreciate seeing happen. My pick is flat out what I think is going to happen. Chase's team is going to dominate. They're going to win. Huge week out of them boys. Tyreek Hill is playing the cum stains. All right, that's all you need to know. AJ Brown, he's probably going to have his way. So I think Chase's team wins in a big way here. AJ Brown will still ball out against the 49ers, even though the 49ers are going to win.
All right,
Barb, Ethan, what about you?
No, I don't want to go. You go.
All right, fine. I already picked my upset of the week. With Colin beating Matt. Give me upset of the year. Give me John. This is the upset of the year here, folks. Give me John to win this game by 1 point. Chase is honestly going to break something in his house, his apartment at the end of this one. Give me Patrick Mahomes to finally not shit the fucking bed. He's dropping a 30. He's going to get 2 rushing touchdowns. And in the worst possible way, give me Christian Kirk to drop a 6 on Monday night and Joe Mixon to drop a 12 to lose Chase the game. Give me Chase winning going into Monday night and losing because Christian Kirk drops his second worst game of the year. Give me a Tyler Higbee 12-point game. This man's catching a touchdown. It's the end of the year. Tyler Higbee always fucking does good towards the end of the year. Don't know why it happened. Tank Dell was Tank Dell with 17 was silent for me last week. Expect a 25. And Rashee Rice is gonna be the sneaky one. Give me a 20 from Rashee Rice. Wouldn't be shocked if Chase's running backs back to back. Wouldn't be shocked if Chase's running backs combined for under 30. And I'll say this: Tyreek Hill under 20 this week. Bad week from Tyreek Hill. Jalen Waddle week. Jalen Waddle's dropping 30, which will really help John. Upset of the year, John wins 129 to 127.6.
Oh, no. Another close loss, which, honestly, Barb, I completely disagree with. I think Chase blows John out. I think John, like his projection states, scores under 100. This, unfortunately, will knock you and David out of the playoff contention.
Please end my misery.
Hey, I mean, David can still find a way if he can put up at least 150 a week and John puts up like 60.
Yeah, if you're not, hold on. Let me tell you the difference right now. So John is 1339.
I just want to let the people know. I've got Chase. I want John for the playoff stuff.
John has 101 more points than Chase. So David would have to average 50.5 more points than him over these 2 weeks.
Yeah. So he needs to he needs to average a 150 a week, which hey, CeeDee Lamb popping off for 26,000 might happen.
I was gonna say tonight. I was gonna say, this is wrapping up before the Cowboys inevitably dominate the fucking Seahawks tonight.
What happens if John's team goes out there and scores 30?
Does John have anyone like a legitimate 30? Just like total.
Total.
That would be brutal for John. That would kill his playoff chance.
Honestly, it would actually make David possible to make the playoffs, even if
So he's 101 behind John.
If John drops
he's also
30,
70 something behind Adam and Colin.
David, if I'm you this week, I'm not paying attention to anything other than John's points.
Win.
I'm just rooting for those points to go down, and then if you get lucky and you win, who knows what can happen.
Let's be real. David's rooting for John to win. Because that's really his only way. He's rooting for John to win. He's rooting for Adam to lose.
Adam and Colin just to lose one of the next two. Because he's just got to win out as long as they lose one of the next two. They don't have to lose this week.
And David's playing Josh next week, so potential guaranteed win as well.
Fun end of the league for us here. Here we go. Here's all our matchups this week. Talked a good bit about them. So with that being said, I'm going to leave it up to you guys to give us some closing statements here.
Well, I will say that this week does have some interesting matchups only because of Josh choosing to play some players you wouldn't expect him to play, and Chase and John's team being a playoff clinching game. Outside of that, kind of a boring week almost in a sense. But
Aaron and Joe for the division, man.
Dude, I'm not too worried about that game.
Matt is locked in on taking that first.
Matt's an underdog to Colin as well.
Honestly,
if I win this week, no matter who wins that game, if
He's only
I
a game
win
back.
losing this week, isn't that the division right there? Don't I win the division?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's why you want Joe
That's
to
not
win.
the division clincher. I'm not.
No, it's not the division, but it's for the 1 seed, Matt. That's for the 1 seed.
Well, you know what?
Well, not technically. Josh can still win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Josh, Josh is literally intentionally throwing the last 2 weeks of the season, so like I think we can count him out.
right.
And I'll rest my players against Aaron
Oh wow.
if he wins.
That'd be tough. Barb, any closing statements here for us?
I'm sick. I blame the Jew. And now he's trying to score in Europe. So he got me sick, and now he's trying to fuck a bitch.
This is sound. This is sound we're looking for.
Proud of you, Adam. Proud of you.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I know we've had low energy this episode, but hey, it's fine. We'll bring it next week. This was Barb's bronchitis episode. All right. And Matt and I are coming off brutal Auburn losses, so we do apologize if the energy was a little low. But just want to say thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Smash the like button if you haven't. Turn on notifications so you know right when this comes out. I'm trying to get it out today, actually. I think I can do it. But anyways, thank you again, everybody, for watching. This has been the LIV Fantasy Football Podcast, episode number 14.
Report Ethan's YouTube channel.
Do not report my YouTube channel. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you guys later. I do have to apologize for something really quick, fellas. There will be no end scene this week. I want to get this video out. I just don't realistically see that I have time to do this.
Legalize nuclear bombs. Swag Messiah.